here we are, guys, and we are back with another episode of the Property Source and Success podcast. As you know, guys, the Property Source and Success Show podcast is designed to be super quick, bite-sized, but more important than that, it's designed to be actionable, designed to help you implement and get some quick wins into your portfolio building business or your investing business this week, next week, not 6 months down the line. And what I want to talk to you guys about today is something that was asked inside our mastermind group very, very recently by Paul, one of the guys inside the program. And the question was, Danielle, do I bypass the estate agent and go directly to the vendor? Do I cut the agent out and go directly to the person that is selling the property? And Paul asked this last Monday night, or maybe the Monday night before that. Now, initially, I misheard him when he asked the question, and I had thought he had said, can I just bypass the estate agent, Danielle, and go directly to the person that's selling the property? Now, my knee-jerk reaction and my knee-jerk response there was, frankly, to rip Paul a new one and berate him publicly for showing such poor character and such poor business morals. Let's be fucking honest. Look, here's the reality, guys. Undercutting the agent would simply not get my seal of approval, and it would almost certainly ensure that you never, ever, ever had an offer entertained in future from that agent in question. It would almost certainly guarantee your name to be blacklisted amongst other agents in that area, because if you think that the agents don't talk, I can categorically tell you now, they most certainly talk. In fact, most of the agents I know gossip like a little fucking group of bitches around a school table. Sorry, not sorry, but the reality is they talk. So if you think that by conducting yourself in that kind of manner won't go unnoticed, you're sadly mistaken, or will go unnoticed, you're sadly mistaken. But the reality is, before I got my chance to launch into a tirade at Paul and berate him publicly on the mastermind program, he asked his question again, and this time it was a lot clearer for me to hear. And he said, Danielle, if the agent has been non-responsive in my requests for viewings, if they are simply not getting back to me, if they are ignoring me essentially, can I go directly to the vendor and can I try and arrange a viewing that way? Now, my take on this question warrants a very, very, very different response. It's not quite the scathing response that I would have given Paul initially. And in short, the answer is yes. If an estate agent has been tasked with the job of selling a property on behalf of a vendor, and if that agent in question is non-responsive to your requests for viewings, then absolutely it is fair game in my opinion. Now, there are some caveats to consider when you're weighing up making that move. Like, you have to make sure that when you take that step that you're doing it, A, with integrity, B, that you're doing it in a way that you're stepping on toes but not stepping on toes, and that you can justify stepping on those toes. So with that in mind, I have a 3-step approach that I use and that I would take when it comes to bypassing the agent when they turn out to be absolutely shite at doing their job. So if you have a pen and paper, you can write this down. If you are listening to this back and you're traveling, save the episode. But if you find yourself in a position where you need to bypass the agent because they're shit at doing their job, they are stonewalling your requests for viewings, they are not taking your requests for updates, you can't get an offer in for love nor money, here are the 3 steps that I would take. If you've tried arranging the viewings, let the third and final time that you reach out be the last time. 3 times is even a bit of a stretch, but it definitely allows you the opportunity to give them the benefit of the doubt. If I have been stonewalled after the 3rd attempt, the first thing I will do is I will approach the vendor directly and I'll state that the only reason that I have reached out was because their instructed selling agent has been non-responsive. And if they're missing your inquiries in relation to the sale, how many more fucking inquiries are they missing out on? That is the first thing I would lead with. The second thing that I would do is I would arrange a viewing directly with the vendor, but I would make it very, very clear that if you choose to submit an offer, and this is important, that if you choose to submit an offer, that you will do so via the agent. You want to make it really clear, guys, at this point in time, that you're not trying to be underhanded and you're not trying to cut anyone out, but you simply wanted to ensure that you got the viewing. But all other protocols will be followed and offers will be submitted via the agent. Okay? The next thing I would do is that I would make the agent aware that you have contacted the seller directly, and they will absolutely be fucking raging. That's just what's going to happen. But I would make the agent aware that you have contacted the seller directly, but I would highlight very clearly, I've done so as a result of my inquiries being ignored through your office. I would follow it up with, but my offers will be submitted through you. Again, all you're doing in that instance is reiterating the fact that you are not here to undercut people, you're not here to cut anybody out, and you're not here to put anybody's nose out of joint. And the third thing that I would do, just to add a little bit of salt to this, is I will hand deliver my offer directly to the vendor in the off chance that the agent's nose is really out of joint and they choose not to pass your offer along. And I have heard it and I have seen it done. So if you think that they wouldn't do it, I can tell you now, hands down, categorically, with first-hand experience, they will do it. Not all, but some. It depends how big their egos are and how badly you have put their nose out of joint. So you can never be too sure. In a nutshell, can you bypass the agent? Should you bypass the agent if they have been ignoring your requests for inquiries, if they have not been responsive to requests for viewings, if they have not been forthcoming with the updates on offers? Can you bypass it? Yes, absolutely yes. However, there is a framework to it. There are, I guess, some unwritten rules that you should follow when it comes to doing it. But let's be honest, if they have ignored you on the third strike, it's fair game and all is fair in love and war. But the three frameworks, the 3-step framework that I follow is approach the vendor directly and explain why you have done that and highlight the pain point. If they're missing out on my inquiries for your property, the chances are they're missing out on a hell of a lot more. The second thing I would do is make the agent aware that I absolutely have made the viewing, but all offers will be submitted through you. And the third thing that I will do is hand deliver my offer to the vendor directly in the off chance that the agent's nose is slightly out of joint. Hopefully that has been useful for you guys. Remember, we are back every single Thursday with the Property Source and Success Show. Short, snappy, actionable, things that you can take and implement into the business this week in order to see results. And listen, if you are somebody who is running a portfolio building business or you are running your own investment business and you are feeling a little bit stuck with your level of progress, if you can't quite break through the next level in terms of revenue or raising finance or the number of properties that you're able to acquire, and you'd like my help brainstorming a plan to move through that next level, you can just put a comment in the comment section below. Let me know, would you bypass an agent? Have you bypassed an agent? Tread carefully. See you next week, guys.